What's up, everybody? Happy Tuesday. Hope all you're having a great day so far today. Getting into this episode of GH. Listen, Carly is on a mission. Carly is not playing no games. Like, she is going to make damn sure she shut Jack down. Like, she is going all the way with this plan. Because Jack noticed that they've had a distance between them lately or whatever. And she was like, listen, that's because of that Vaughn shit. She was like, I had to process all that and figure out if I could be with somebody who can't tell me everything, if I could be with somebody that's going to keep certain things from me or whatever. So she had to play it up. She really tried to make this about the whole Vaughn secret of him being the WSB agent. And she was playing it, and let Jack know that she all in and she not backing out or whatever. And that she had to hunt down some amazing red wine just to have, an excuse to see him. And the fact that she's ready to just do this with him, and just continue to be with him or whatever. She had to sell it. And I feel like she did a good job selling it. He's buying it. Because he has a real soft spot for her. You know what I'm saying? I feel like at this moment, if Carly keeps things the way that they are, he's not going to see her coming. If she continues to keep this up, he's not going to see it. But he had got a call that he had to get back to the office, and it was so funny because she was like, yep, nothing's more important than the WSB. Carly gonna dig in his ass. I'm telling you, she gonna get him. But I just want Carly to be smart and meticulous about every move she make, because one slip up could tip him off. One little, slip of the tongue, one little bad move, and it's a wrap. He gonna be tipped all the way off. Like, she gotta play this. And I'm enjoying it. I really am. I'm enjoying watching Carly play Jack. Because for once, he's not in control. For once, he's not the one with all the inside information. He don't know what's going on for once, and that's good. Keep him off kilter. So anyway, moving on from that, Sonny met up with Laura or whatever at her office, and she was letting him know that she may have jeopardized her political career or whatever by doing what she did. Sonny was like, shit, I saw the video. Sonny said, I definitely saw it. And he was like, I was proud. He was happy about it, He admired her for what she did. And apparently the general public did as well, because she got a lot of support off that video. A lot of people are supporting her because she's sticking by her grandson. I said, go ahead. I am so happy to hear that. And she's happy about that, but she still feel like, her career, as mayor could be over. If it is, so be it. So be it. If the people still want to vote her out or whatever and vote Boyle in, it is what it is. She stood up for what was right. She stood up for her, for her grandson. She did what she had to do, and she should never regret that. But they still got that whole Dalton situation to deal with, because Sonny wants him to go back on his statement or whatever. And Sonny was offering to handle it. He was like, I could take care of this shit. I could get him to recant what he said. I bet Sonny can too, because Sonny, he gonna put a meat hook on that man. He gonna have him hanging. So anyway, moving on from that. I was so irritated with Danny and Charlotte. Like, I was slightly irritated with them, because on the one hand, I admire them for wanting to step up, and own up to their part and try to help Rocco, because Rocco stepped up in a major way. He was willing to take it on the chin for everybody. And I love how everybody's willing to, take it on the chin for him too. I admire that. They're all standing up for each other, and willing to own up to what they did and make it right. I love that. Part of me love it. But they also come from influential families. They all come from people who do some shady business, and they should have learned something. You never talk to the cops without a parent or a lawyer present, because they're going to need that parent in this case, because they're still minors. They can't be questioning without their parents. And I was annoyed with Nathan, because I understand he just got his badge back, but sir, you knew damn well you should not have been talking to them kids without their lawyer and parent present. And you still sat them down. You still recorded the conversation. Why? And he waited till after he was done recording to go talk to Dante and call Jason and let them know that their kids just made a confession. You should have been did that. Should have did that the moment they walked in and said they wanted to confess. The hell you wait for? Shouldn't have been talking to him. Because Dante and Lulu was in his office, he's still pissed off at Gio. And I love that Lulu saw it in a different way. She was like, yes, I'm upset with Gio for, getting Rocco mixed into this. But she was like, that's not all on Gio, though. And I totally agree with her. You have to put blame on all of them. Danny, Charlotte, Rocco, Emma, it's on all of them. Especially the teenagers. They're old enough to know right from wrong. They're old enough to say, nah, I don't want to do that. And they chose to go along with this. They got to take fault in this as well. So I'm glad Lulu holding all of them accountable, as she should. Dante just wants to put all the blame on Gio because that's all he see. He got tunnel vision. I'm like, Dante, come on now. You got to think bigger. Stop sitting here thinking small, thinking everything is Gio's fault. No, it's not. You got to make your son own this. Because if you don't make these kids, accountable for their actions, they're going to start, that becomes learned behavior. And then they're going to continue to do messed up things. They're going to continue to do wild shit and not own it. They're going to get to a point where they feel like they don't have to own it because the parents ain't making them own it. So they're going to, they're going to keep doing the dumb shit. You don't want them doing that. So I'm glad Lulu's that one parent. Like, no, it's all of them. It ain't just one. And, Dante was starting to be concerned because he feels like this is starting to become a consistent pattern between Rocco and Charlotte. They're starting to lie more, and he's not liking that. And I'm glad he's starting to see it, because you shouldn't like it. Your kid's just blatantly lying to you at the drop of a hat, and that's not a good sign. You know what I'm saying? Like, you need to nip that in the bud quick. All that lying shit, I don't play that. Hell no. Your kids should be able to come to you and freely speak to you about how they feel and what they want to do. And, all that sneaking around, no, that's a big cause for concern. So Nathan came in there letting them know, Danny and Charlotte just showed up to confess. And Jason went to go see Britt because Britt want to sit here and ask Jason to talk to Dante. I mean, not Dante, but Danny. Get Danny to speak up for Rocco. Jason said, hell no. Jason was like, He said, I don't want my son involved in this. He said, no, I do not want my son going to the cops. And of course, she's sitting there with that little pouty look and acting like a little brat. And he was like, listen, and I'm glad Jason broke it down to her. He was like, even if Carly was to ask me to do what you're asking me to do, I would tell Carly no, just to reassure her. Like, it ain't, because you know how Britt is. Oh, well, if it was Carly coming to you, you would have done it. And he said, no, the hell I wouldn't have either. Carly's, that's my best friend. But no, even there's certain things I wouldn't do for her. No, not when it comes to my child. And I was proud of Jason in that moment. I said, that you damn right, Jason, put your child first. Like, obviously, he don't want none of these kids in the system, but his child is going to be above all these other kids at this point. That's his child. He got to worry about his kid just like Dante and Lulu need to worry about theirs. It is what it is, because he had told her the story about when Michael went to Pentonville and how he was supposed to be there to help him or whatever, and he felt like he failed Michael. And he does not want history repeating itself. He doesn't want his son going there and his son being failed. And also, he's trying to keep Drew off of Danny's ass. Because if Drew get a whiff of this, it's just giving him more ammunition to keep scouting Danny away. It just gives him more ammunition, and Jason doesn't want that. He's not here for all of that. And I was proud of Jason. I said, you better go ahead, stand up for your son. But I know he was pissed when, he got that phone call about Danny being at the PCPD. So, of course, he had to get a hold of Alexis and let her know. Because even Alexis went to, to the PCPD and she let Danny know. She said, you don't ever talk to the cops without a parent and your attorney present. You don't do that. She said, hell to the no. You don't dry snitch on yourself. What's wrong with you? And I get it. He wanted to do the right thing. He felt like that's what his mother would have wanted. I respect it. I definitely respect it. I like that. But you got to know when to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to know when to do it and how to do it. Don't go about it the wrong way. And that's exactly what he did. I said, come on, Danny. Do better, sir. Do better. And I'm glad that all the parents was like, well, this little interrogation is over. Our kids are not making no statement. We're not allowing them to make a statement. I said, amen. Shut it down. Shut it down now. Rick was over there talking to Alexis or whatever. You know, she wanted to know, listen, what you got on Portia? Because she was like, I'm not talking about nothing until you tell me what you got on Portia. So he told her about the whole Heather Weber situation and whatnot, and hypothetically how that could give Portia reason to shoot Drew. I am so over this who shot Drew bullshit. Like, can we wrap this up, please? Wrap it up. Like, at this point, do we even care who shot him? Because whoever did it needs a fucking medal. Kicking ass for not finishing the job, but you still get a little medal. You still gonna get a prize. You did well. You know, you put 2 in his back. Kudos to you. But next time, take the bitch out. If you're gonna try to take somebody out, don't try. Please do next time. Okay. But you get a little treat. Give you a little chocolate or something. You know. You get a C for effort. You know, you made him suffer a little bit. You know, he needs to suffer more because he still came back as a bigger bitch than he was before, you know. So you get a little treat, you know, maybe a little ice cream or something from Dairy Queen. I was going to say friendlies, but nah, you don't get friendlies. You're going to get a little DQ, you know. Maybe, you know what, maybe we'll take you to McDonald's, you know, get you one of them McFlurries. If the ice cream machine is working this time, you might get that. If not, you fresh out of fucking luck. I don't know what to tell you. You might get some off-brand Hershey's or something. I don't know. But you get a little sweet treat. You did okay. So anyway, moving on from that, Rick met up with Dante and Lulu, and he was like, listen, I got a way where we can prove or try to get proof that Dalton falsified his statement or whatever, and we can get Rocco the hell up out of there. You know, he got, you know, some type of proof or whatever. They can establish that he faked the evidence or whatever. And the DA will have to prosecute Dalton for that. And, you know, that's their ticket to get Rocco the hell about this situation. Marco and Sidwell are plotting at this point because Marco is pissed that Dalton jeopardized pretty much the entire operation at this point by doing what he's doing, because now the focus is going to shift to the lab. And, you know, he wants Sidwell to talk to his mystery partner or whatever to handle this situation. And, you know, Sidwell was like, listen, what we need to do is we need to push Dalton the fuck out and get Britt in power at that lab. We need to push him out, move her in. And Marco was all for that. Because Britt came up in there and let Sidwell know. She was like, listen, Dalton got to be handled. Like, he needs to be taken care of because Rocco's sitting up in jail, you know, on this bullshit. And he kept pursuing it, you know. And Sidwell plan is to put Britt in charge, and she want to know if Rocco suspects that she's involved in this or whatever. But she was like, nah, he don't even know I work there, so that's not a problem. He was there for another situation. And she told him, she was like, you need to get this shit handled. Get Dalton under control, or I will torch this entire operation. I was like, well, you don't want to threaten the man. I was like, Britt, you might want to relax. You don't want to threaten the fella. You know, he's on your side here. You know, there's no need for threats. Relax. He wants to take care of Dalton just as much as you and everybody else does. But he has to be smart about how he does it. Now, my thing is, Sonny talking about handling Dalton as well. I'm like, Sonny need to calm down and be careful, because if Sidwell does something to Dalton, he could easily make it look like Sonny did that shit. Because Sonny would have a motive at this moment. You know, seeing as how Dalton put his grandson in prison, that would give him a hell of a motive to take that man out. And Sidwell could use that to his advantage. So Sonny might want to fall back on this one and let others handle, you know, this type of thing. Because everybody in this situation at this moment feels like Dalton is a bit unruly and he needs to be tamed. So I think Sonny needs to let somebody else tame that man. Keep his hands clean on this one. But anyway, that was pretty much the whole episode. Hit the comment section. Let me know what you all thought, and I will see you all later. Peace.